I think we are going to start now. Like I said, it's so nice to see some familiar faces again. Just quickly want to reply here. Okay. Okay. So let us start. I just quickly want to share my screen here. Let's get down to business. Okay. Yesterday I asked you what you guys want to do, what you guys still struggle with. So like I said, the first week is only going to be revision. Okay. So yesterday we did some exponents. The day before that, we worked on our algebraic expressions. Okay, so then I asked you yesterday, guys, what do you still want to do? And I got a lot of feedback. So I worked out a little schedule and I'll introduce it to you just now. Just to welcome you, my name is Shantae and I'm your grade 10 math teacher for our lockdown period. I'm so happy to be with you again. And I hope this is helpful to you guys. Okay, so today we will be doing equations and inequalities. I had a few requests yesterday, and in this lesson we will then therefore focus on these. Okay, we will focus on linear equations, linear inequalities, interval notation, and and then all of those above. Okay. Let's go on. Now, yesterday when I worked with you guys, I asked you again what it is, what you want from me. You said you want factorization and you also want trig. Okay, so don't you worry. This is then how we are going to plan our lessons tomorrow. You can join me at 4 again and we're going to do some factorization. If there's time, we will do some number patterns. That's going to be quite quick. And I know we had a special request for that as well. And then Monday and Tuesday, after you've had a nice long weekend of just resting, we'll do trig. Okay. Just some information here that I need to say. Please, if you have any questions, please contact us on www.africateamgeeks.co.za and remember to go and follow us. Okay, let's start our session. Okay, can you all see? We are starting with our linear equations. I just want some confirmation that you are seeing the screen I want you to see. Okay, great job. Okay, so are you seeing? Okay, so you guys are seeing my linear equations. You are seeing that we are going to start. Let's start. Can you read? What does solve X mean? Okay, you guys like when I zoom into 150? So Miss P, I know you always ask me. Let's see. There we go. I'm sure you guys are going to see it now. Okay. There we go. Great. Okay. Fantastic. Let's start, guys. Let's start. Today is an exciting lesson. I want us to start at what does solve X mean. So I know we've seen a lot of means of what does X mean, but let's start thinking positively about this, okay? And let's see here how we can work with it. I want you to read with me. Okay. I want you to read with me. So instead of saying solve for X, and then you have this equation, I want you to think rather can X minus 5 be 4? And then your response should be yes, but only if X is equal to 9. Okay, and obviously, how do I do it? I know a lot of schools have different methods, and we have a lot of kids joining from different schools, and that makes me so excited. So, how I say it is we go over the rainbow, and when we go over the rainbow, we say that in front, that term in front changes. So, instead of saying that it's a minus 5, 4 it becomes a plus 5. So it goes X then is equal to 4 plus 5. Okay. Are you all with me? Okay. So let's go move on to our next page. Let's talk about linear equations. Okay, so solving linear equations by inspection. Okay, study the following examples very carefully as these are extremely important. Okay, so instead of saying solve X, we say X 3x plus 1 is equal to 16. I want you to think, can 3x plus 1 be 16? And your answer should be yes, but only if x is equal to 5. Okay, and how do I get that? Okay, first of all, do you see that you're going to take plus 1 over the rainbow and it's going to be 16 minus 1 as it changes is the sign, okay? Then I'm left with 3x is equal to 15. Now, what do I do? Okay, I want x alone. So my second step is then to divide this. To get x alone, I need to divide this by 3 so that these two can cancel each other out. And then obviously what I do on this side, I also have to do on this side. Okay, so I'm going to say 15 divided by 3, and that's how I get x divided by 5. Okay, now these all again might seem simple, but that's where we start. If you understand this, then the rest will build on top of each other and you'll be fine. Okay. Remember, if you guys want to ask a question, and the chat box is open for questions only, then just type question and then you can ask your question away. Okay, I will give enough time for you to also ask questions, and when we start with our questions like we did yesterday, you are more than welcome to ask. Okay, let's take the next one. So x is equal to x plus 2. So can that be? No. Why not? Because if I take this x over, right, because I want one type of term on the one side of my equation and one type of term on my other equation. Okay, so now if I go here and it goes over, my x goes over the rainbow, or if I take this x over the rainbow and I take the 2 to that side, can you see that I have 0, like I don't have an x? So that is where we say there is no solution. Okay, just keep this in mind, guys. There is then no solution. Okay, now here again, even if I take this over, it is 0, okay? And that doesn't make sense. Therefore, the solution is 0. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Now, they are asking me, can this be? Can this be? So now I'm going to want to give them an answer. And I say, let's see. Okay. We are going to see if every x is bigger than 0. Okay. Can you see that I if I do that, if I put all my x's on this side and all my numbers on that side, I'll divide it. It looks the same. It's 0. Okay, so we are fine. Now, when we go to exercise 4.1, I want us to please do number 6, 11, and 16. I'll quickly just add this in the chat box so you know what to do. Okay, we're starting off easy. Sorry, I think I just said 41. I meant exercise 4.1 in the chat box there. Yes, I love finance. So, Ashley, we can do finance. Okay, Ollie, the worksheet is here on my screen. Can you see that? Perfect. So here I want us to do number 6, number 11, and number 16. Can you see? No problem, Ollie. Okay, let me know when you guys are done. Vincent, we can do finance next week. I'll work it in our schedule. We're first going to do factorizations tomorrow and then trick Monday and Tuesday. So we can look at it maybe Wednesday or come next week Thursday, okay? But I'll definitely take note of finance. Okay, Ms. P, I zoomed in a bit. I don't know if this is going to work for you. I had some problems with people who can't see. Can you see now? Okay, great. So let's go to the answers. As I see most of you are done. Okay, I asked you to do number 6. Here's number 6. Okay. Okay, so how did I get to x is minus 7? Let's go back to number 6. So can you see this is the easy one? You just take, I can decide on what do I want to do where. Okay, so for instance, remember, if I want to take 19 over to 26, that is perfectly fine because it's going to be 26 minus 19, which is going to give me 7. But why do they now have minus 7 and I will have a 7? Can you see that we are working with a negative x? We can't do that. They want me to solve x. So I want x to be alone. So therefore, I have to divide say this is divided with minus 1. I had to also divide the 7 minus 1. And then you will get x is equal to minus 7. Okay, let's quickly do 11. Okay, the same here. This one is very easy again. We're taking the 8 over the rainbow. If I take it over the rainbow, what happens? It changes its sign. So this is a positive. When it goes over the rainbow, it becomes negative 8. Negative 8. Okay. Next up, I wanted you to do number 16. Again, I want to take away everything in front of the x. This is not a minus 2 plus 8. It's together. So what do I want to do? In order for me to take away the minus 2, I have to divide it. So I'm going to say minus 2 divided, minus 2x divided by minus 2, which also is going to do what I do on this side, I have to do on the other side. That is the golden rule here, okay? To get the x alone, number 1, but in order to get the x alone, number 2, is to get x alone, and on the, so what I was saying, to number 2 is to make sure that what you do on this side, you also do on that side. That's very important. Okay. So now, because I said 6 divided by minus 2, my answer then, therefore, will be minus 3. Okay. Let's quickly look at the chat box. How did it go? Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Did you guys struggle with something? Mooi, Emma. Great. Okay. It seems as if everyone, I'm glad it's easy as pie. Okay. Let's go back. I want us to look at the next one. Okay. They say that here are the tools, okay, to work out and to solve linear equations. What do they say? Fractions. Multiply both sides by the lowest common denominator. Okay. To get rid of any fractions. I want to get rid of any fractions. Okay. My brackets, multiply out my brackets to get x free. I want x alone, right? Shift the terms, make sure that x is on one side, for instance, the left, and all the other terms are on the right side. Collect like terms. So remember, I told you apples with apples. We're keeping on that track. We're saying, okay, this one type of term, which is x, I want on this side, and the other term I want on that side. Okay. Okay, and also take note of number 5. Here is what I want to do. The point of this is to follow, and the point of following these procedures, these 1 to 5. If you want, again, you can screenshot it. You can take a photo. This is really good summaries for you to have in that little bookie I told you yesterday. So before a test, you don't work out 110 sums. You've already done that the weekend before or the 2 days before leading up to your test. You go the night before and you just read through this to revise and refresh your memory to say, okay, what is the point of me following these procedures? And the point is to isolate x, to get x alone, to see, okay, what is my answer? Okay. Can you see here that here is a fraction and it's a 7? So what do I do if I want everything to be the same? I have to, in order for me to get this alone and get 1x, I have to times it by 7 on this side. If I times it by 7 on this side, remember what I told you? I have to do the exact same on this side. So can you see there the recipe at 1? That's why they times the x. The times it by 7. They do it on this side as well as on that side. You could write 1x, that won't be a problem. It's just that the one in front of the x is like a ghost. Remember that we said yesterday? Okay. Great. Hi, Ethan. I'm glad you're back. First time I'm seeing you. So that's good. Okay. So remember to keep the chat only for work purposes. Okay. We want, I want to hear from you if you get it right, if you don't understand something. Okay. So now I have that. Okay, what is my second step? I then have to times this in, right? Exactly like we did in my first lesson, right? So I get 28x minus 112 to x. Now, what's my second thing? Okay, I need to make sure that this is like, these are like terms. Can you see? Because I'm taking this over and I'm taking that one over. So I'm getting one term on this side and the other term on that side. I'm getting all my apples here, which is apples is going to be my X for today. I'm getting all my bananas on this side. Okay, so that's going to be my normal numbers, just normal numbers. Okay, so then I have to get X alone. How do I get X alone? I just divide it by 27. Okay. Another thing here to keep in mind, they just say that it's important to pair these together. I'm not going to go through that as of now because you know exactly how it works. We've just done that. Okay, so when it goes over the rainbow, it becomes a minus. Okay, when you want to get 3 alone, you have to divide by 3. When 3 is underneath, I know this one is where a lot of students struggle, so I want you to quickly just have a look here, pay some attention. If in order for you to get this X as 1X, you have to times it. Okay, so if I want to get the 3x away, I'm going to divide it. But if the x is below, if this is a fraction, I have to times it. Okay. And remember, what I do on this side, I have to do on that side. Okay. Like we did yesterday, these powers and roots are the same. I just quickly want you to also screenshot this for me. This is very important. Okay. So when is it an equation to be solved and when is an expression to be simplified? Guys, I want you to quickly take a photo of this, screenshot it. This is important for you to know because a lot of you don't know. And I get that. When I was your age, I also saw, and then I said, what should I do? When should I solve it? And when should it be simplified? Okay. Because in both cases, you obviously use the lowest common denominator. Okay, but we are currently here. We are busy with our equations. Okay, when we look at 4.2, let me zoom in a bit for those of you who want me to zoom in. I want you please to do number 1, number 3, and number 7. Yes, so we will tackle geometry next week as well. Okay, so I did not forget about your requests. Don't you worry. We will get everything done. I wrote it down here, so I will get to everything, but we can only do one at a time. Okay, how's it going with your number 1, number 3, and number 7? Good, Ollie. Okay, Letabo is asking, Letabo, can you please quickly tell me what you mean? No, Miss P, this is only equations. So we're moving away from expressions. We're not looking at expressions now. We just want to solve X. So I want you to see, can this I want you to solve x here. So number one is not 1. Number one is -3, guys. -3 is the answer. Yes. Is it Zalnay? She says number one is -3. You are correct. Happy to see you here, Zalnay. Mooi, Emma. We are doing number 1, number 3, and number 7. Okay, Junior asks if I can explain how to do it with brackets. Yes, okay. So what I first want you to do, and maybe this will also answer, let's just go up, Latable's question. The first thing here I want you to quickly do is take the -3 and times it into the brackets, okay? So keep to your normal way of doing things. Don't get frazzled, okay? Remember when I did my first lesson, everyone's reaction was, this is so easy, this is so easy. But the reason why I did that right in the beginning is in order for you to understand what I should do and to just keep the basics and keep to the basics now. Okay, so what am I going to do first? I'm going to times in that -3. Okay, so that I get, then I'm going to have 3 terms. I'm going to throw away the brackets and I'm going to have 3 terms. Then I'm going to take all my numbers on one side and I'm going to have all my x's on the other side. Okay, and then I'm going to try and get x alone. So that's how I'm going to do that. And then I have an answer. Okay. Do you guys understand that? Do you understand better what you guys need to do when you see this? Okay, Miss Peach says she doesn't understand number 7. That's not a problem. Takalani says he's not sure what I mean. So let me try again. First of all, what do? I'm going to take this -3 and I'm going to times it into my x and I'm going to say, so that's going to give me -3x. What am I going to do next? I'm going to take this -3 and I'm going to also times it in. I'm going to take it in. So -3 times 2 is going to give me -6. Okay, so let's quickly have a look here. Okay, can you see? I don't want to go too much down because then you guys are going to see my answer at 3, but that's okay. I now, can you see that because I put that in to my brackets, I've timed it into my brackets. I now have 6x minus 3x minus 6. My next step then is to take all my x's onto this side of my equation and to then take all my numbers onto this side of my equation, to the right side, okay? So now I have -3x because it is 6x and then -3x. So that's going to give me 3x. But remember, I have 3x and then I'm taking over the 6x again. So that's also changing. So that's 3x minus 6x. Just type into your calculator 3 minus 6. You'll get an answer of -3. So therefore, it's going to be -3x on my left side and 9 because now I have 3 on my right side. Okay, I'm taking over plus 6. So that forms 9, right? Now my next step is to get x alone. So how do I do that? I divide it on this side with -3. So what do I do if I do it on this side? I have to do it on that side. And therefore you get x is equal to -3. Okay, nice, Takalani. It's good to see you getting it now that I try to explain it again. Okay, let's do number 3. Number 3, your answer should be 5. X is equal to 5/3. Did you guys get that? Oli, you don't understand? Rabia, you also don't understand. It's fine. Okay, Ollie says, I got that. Okay, got it. Great. Ollie, do you? Okay, I'll work on number 7. Miss P also had a problem with number 7. Okay, Takalani says he unfortunately just swapped it around. Okay, do you see your problem now, Takalani? Okay, let's look at 7. 7 seems as if it gave everyone a hard time. Okay, here is 7. So what do I want to do? First of all, guys, what do I do first? Okay, I times everything in. Okay, so just like our simple number 1 where I timed in this -3, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So step number 1. Okay, you're going to take away the 4. Okay, how do you do that? You times this whole thing with 4. Okay, can you see that? Just there, and that's going to change there. Okay, so this is my first step. Boucle, I would much rather want you to write it as a fraction. Okay, so the best answer I could give is no, I do not want you to simplify it anymore. I just want you to do it, to keep it as a fraction. Okay. Yes, Talita, you can have improper fraction. That's perfectly fine. Okay, guys. So what they did here is, can you see that the first step was they times it with 4 to get that 4 away? Okay. If you times 4 with 3 over 2, you will get 6. And remember, this is a different term. So I say 4 times 4, and that's why it's 16. Okay. Rabia, don't you worry. We are busy explaining it. Okay, so step number 1, this is a difficult one. Step number 1 is I made sure that I'm going to times 4 to get this 4 away. I don't like this 4, okay? So what did I do? Okay, I times it by 4 so that 4 goes away, right? Because the 4 times the 4 goes away. It cancels out. What I do on this side, on the left side, I have to do on the right side. Okay, so type into your calculator 4 times 3 over 2 and you'll get the answer 6. So therefore, I write the 6 and the bracket there. Leave the bracket as is. The bracket doesn't change at all. And then I have to do it on this side as well. Because can you see, this is one term. This is one term, this is another term, and then that is another term. Why am I saying this? A positive, when you add something or when you subtract something, it forms a separate term. Whenever I times or multiply, it becomes one term, okay? It's one term, this, because it has a multiplication, because I'm going to be able to also multiply that in, okay? Now, my next step is to make sure that I multiply this in. So I'm going to have x5. I'm going to say on your calculator 5. Your calculator is your best friend here, guys. You're going to say 5 times 1 over 5. I'm going to get 1 because 5s are going to cancel each other out. Remember, the sign stays a minus. Okay, next step, what I do on this side, I have to do on that side. So I'm going to get that in. So 2 times 6 is going to be 12x. If I put that into my calculator, it's going to give me 8 and I have 16. Now, basics. I've done the hard math. I'm okay. I'm fine. I have confidence. Next step is literally to just get the x term on my left side and the numbers on my right side, and to make sure that I get my x alone. So when I have, how do I get my x alone? I make sure I divide it by 7, and I have to do it on this side because what I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side. And therefore, I get x is equal to 1. Okay, let's see. How do you guys feel? Okay, Miss P says she doesn't know where the 4 came from. Okay, I need you to see, quickly have a look up here, Miss P. See that we have 5 over 4 now, and I want us to, and here we have a improper fraction as well. It would be best for me to times it by 4 so that I can get this 5 away. Okay, I can get the 4 away. Okay, if I look at my rules again, here, let's look at my rules again. Y fractions. Please multiply both sides to get the lowest common denominator. In this case, my lowest common denominator was 4. So to get that, I have to multiply both sides. That's where the 4 came from. Okay, Miss P. There we go. Mooi. I'm glad, Rovia, you understand. Okay, Arthur asks me, I need to quickly explain it again. So I times it by 4 because why? Remember, this is what's going to come in your little bookie. It's going to come on, you're going to paste it in your book. You're going to paste it on your wall. These are the rules. I'm going to say fractions. Multiply both sides to by the lowest common denominator. Okay, in this case, the lowest common denominator is 4 to get rid of my fractions. Okay, how do I see that? Let's quickly go back to that question. Can you see that there's my 4? That gives me a way to times it by 4. Yes, you will have a bit of a difference. And obviously, too, because that isn't your lowest common denominator. Remember, lowest common denominator has to be for both. Okay, so unfortunately, if I times it by 2 on this side, Israel, I think that is who asked the question. I can't do that because it won't cancel this 4 out, and I need something to cancel this 4 out. Okay. Okay, Apocalypse Bird, I don't know what your name is. You can please reply with your name. But if you type in 3 over 2 times 4, you will get 6. So that's how we got 6. Okay, Junior, did you get my explanation why we now multiply the 4 into the terms? Because my rule says my first step is I need to get rid of my fraction. In order to get my rid of my fraction, I need to multiply both sides with my lowest common denominator. I can't multiply it by 2 because I have 3 over 2. That's not my lowest common denominator. Common means on both sides, so therefore I have to use 4. Now, lady. Okay, good. I'm happy. You are happy. So you do not divide the 2 by 4, you times it, okay? You're going to times it, Talita. Quickly put into your calculator, 4 times 3 over 2. You'll get 6. I have a question here. Yes, it would be difficult. So I think follow the rules. The rules are there for a reason. It's going to be very difficult then because then you're going to struggle to add this in first and then that. So no, follow the rules. The rule number 1 is to get that rid of that fractions. No one likes fractions. Okay, so if you get everything correctly, you would actually be able to get to the answer of x is equal to 1, but that's very difficult. You're making your life a bit harder than it should be. Okay, let's move on. I think everyone's happy and I'm happy you guys are happy. That's the most important. I just want to quickly zoom out a bit. There we go. Okay, let's do, it seems as if we will not be finishing everything we need to finish. So let's do everything until quarter two, and then tomorrow we will take off with our interval notation, and then we will do some more linear equations because that I think you guys need some work on, and also we'll do factorization. Okay, so I don't want to rush this. We will then do it over to Ethan. Trich will come Monday and Tuesday. Okay, great. Let's quickly go. Let's do last 5 minutes of this lesson. Let's work. Okay, so here they say a linear equation is obviously x plus 3 is equal to 10. But now, what is linear inequality? Can you see that it's just the signs that change, okay? Or that it's just the signs, okay? For all linear equations, there is a maximum of one solution. Consider the following example. So x is plus 3 is equal to 10. So the answer then is yes. Can x plus 3 equal 10? Yes, it can, but only if x is equal to 7. Now we move on to linear inequalities, and now we see, okay, so the linear inequalities above, however, have multiple values that make the statement true. So here we have x plus 3, okay, and we have our bigger S sign, 10. Okay, any value of x greater than 10 will make this true. Okay, and if we have the smaller as an equal sign here, we get any value of x is equal to 7 or less than 7 will make this true. Okay, now what I want to give you a tip today, okay? And I want you to think of it as a normal equation, okay? Leave this big as or smaller as sign, leave it. Just, you have to obviously keep on filling it in, but treat it in your mind, imaginary here inside, treat it as if it was a normal equation, because this is not supposed to be tricky or anything. If you can do a linear equation, and you guys can do a linear equation, you just did it in our previous examples and our previous exercises, you are more than able to do a linear inequality, okay? But sometimes these signs throw off you guys, and it's not needed. You don't need to be thrown off because you know exactly how to do it, okay? Another screenshot moment here before we just do one more question. We're going to do one more question before we leave. Quickly screenshot this. I want us to have this with you. Take a photo. This is important. Yes, okay. So I have here a question that we need to quickly revise our linear equations again. I will do so. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so you all took a photo, I assume. All I want you to quickly do is I want you to do 4.4 number 6. Okay, before we leave, we have 3 more minutes. I want you to please do for exercise 4.4, just quickly number 6. We had Arthur here saying I'm allowed to treat it as a normal equal as sign, but when you divide or multiply, he actually said divide, you change the sign. Have a look here. I forgot to mention it up there. Thank you for reminding here, but here's a nice little reminder for all of us, is you need to know whenever you multiply with a negative or dividing with a negative, then you just change your sign. You change from big as to smaller as, or smaller as to big as. Okay, not a big problem, just a small trick. So first of all, it stays exactly the same. There's just one trick. And remember, whenever you divide or multiply with a negative, you just change it to the other side. Okay, done. Okay. Kumu, what do you mean, so ma'am? What have we been doing all along? Okay, let's quickly look at the answer. Remember, I asked you to treat it exactly the same. Okay. Okay, guys, don't worry. Mark this if you do not understand that. That's not a problem. I can see there's a lot of people that got it right. I will quickly revise this tomorrow and revise everything we did yesterday, today in my lesson tomorrow, so you guys can understand the signs again. No need to rush. Yes, Junior, your answer is correct. Well done. Pleasure, Takalani. It's good to be of help to you guys. Okay. Pleasure. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll revise all of this again.